There is something that most of us do every single day, and yet very few of us ever notice it. We do it in the morning, before we have even finished our first cup of tea. We do it at the market, on the street, sometimes even in church. We do it quietly, almost without meaning to, and then we move on with our day as if nothing happened. We judge other people, not loudly, not cruelly, most of the time. Just a small thought, quick as a sparrow crossing the window. We see a neighbor and think, she did not wave. She must be unfriendly. We see a young man sitting idle on the steps and think, he should be working. We hear that someone made a mistake, and before we have heard even half the story, we have already decided what kind of person they must be. It happens so naturally, so quietly, that it almost feels like breathing. And that is perhaps the most important thing to understand at the very beginning. Judging others is not something that only cold or unkind people do. It is something that all of us do. Gentle people do it. Generous people do it. People who have lived long lives full of love and loss, they do it too. And yet, if we slow down, if we sit quietly for just a few moments and think about it honestly, we begin to wonder, how much do we really know about another person? How much can we know? And if we cannot truly know, then what right do we have to decide? These are not easy questions, but they are worth asking. And so today, let us sit together for a while and think through them gently, with open hearts and no rush. Imagine a woman you see every Sunday at the market. She is always in a hurry. She never smiles much. She does not stop to talk, and when you say good morning, she gives only a short nod and moves on. Over the weeks, you begin to form a picture of her. You think she is rude, she is proud, she thinks herself better than others. But then one Sunday, you happen to see her leaving the market early, and she is carrying a heavy bag, and you notice something. She is walking toward the hospital at the end of the road, and you find out much later that she has been going there every Sunday for the past year. Her husband has been ill, very ill. She has been caring for him quietly, working all week. And on Sunday mornings, she goes to the market not for herself, but to bring him something fresh, something he might still enjoy eating. She was not rude. She was tired. She was carrying something so heavy inside her that she had nothing left for small talk. She was not proud. She was simply surviving. How many people in our lives are we seeing this way without knowing it? How many times have we looked at someone and thought we understood them, when in fact we were only seeing the surface, the very thinnest edge of who they are? This is perhaps the hardest truth about judgment. It is not just that it is unkind. It is that it is almost always incomplete. We judge based on a moment, a single expression, a single action, seen from a single angle. But a human life is not a moment. A human life is 100,000 moments, most of which we will never see. There is a reason, of course, why we judge. It would be unfair to pretend otherwise. The mind, bless it, is always trying to make sense of the world around us. It is always trying to sort and arrange things, to find patterns, to decide quickly what is safe and what is not, who is trustworthy and who is not. This is not a flaw. It is part of how we have learned to live. But what worked well enough when we were young, when the world felt simple and the categories felt clear, does not always serve us well as we grow older and wiser. Because wisdom, true wisdom, is often the slow discovery that things are more complicated than they first appeared, that people are more complicated, that life is more complicated. When we were children, we thought in straight lines. This person is good, that person is bad, this thing is right, that thing is wrong. But life has a way of bending those straight lines. We get older, and we see that the person we thought was good did something that hurt us deeply. and we see that the person we thought was difficult or strange turned out to be the only one who showed up when we truly needed help. Life keeps showing us again and again that our first impressions are only the beginning of understanding, not the end. And yet, even knowing this, we keep judging. Because it is comfortable, because it gives us a feeling of order, because as long as we are busy deciding what is wrong with others, we do not have to sit too long with what is difficult inside ourselves. Let us think for a moment about what we do not see. When you look at another person, you see the outside. You see their face, their clothes, the way they walk, the things they say out loud. But behind that, hidden completely from your view, is everything else. Everything that made them who they are. You do not see what happened to them when they were small. You do not see the words that were said to them, the love they received or did not receive, the losses they carry in their hearts like stones that never quite disappear. You do not see the nights they spent awake, worrying, the fears that visit them in quiet moments, the old wounds that have never fully healed. Every person you have ever met is carrying a story so long and so complicated that it would take years to tell it. And most of it, they have never told anyone. Not because they are hiding it deliberately, but because there are simply no words for some things, or because they learned long ago that the world does not always want to hear. Think of your own life for a moment. Think of the things inside you that no one else can fully see. The grief you carry for someone you have lost. The worry you feel for your children or grandchildren. The small regrets that visit you sometimes in the evenings, for choices made long ago that you cannot change now. The quiet fears about your health, your future, your place in the world. You carry all of this every single day, and no one who passes you on the street can see any of it. They see a face, they see a coat, they see you moving through the world in your ordinary way, but inside there is so much more, and so does the person standing next to you, and the one across the street, and the one you were just about to judge. There is a kind of loneliness in being misunderstood. Perhaps you have felt it yourself. Perhaps someone drew a conclusion about you that was not true and you could not find the words to correct it. Or you did try to explain and were not believed. Perhaps you were judged for something you did when you were going through the hardest time of your life, when you were not yourself, when you were simply trying to hold yourself together. It is a particular kind of pain, being seen wrongly. It does not leave bruises on the outside, but it can leave something much harder to heal on the inside, a quiet sense of not being known, a feeling that the world looks at you and sees something that is not really you at all. Most of us have felt this at some point in our lives, and if we have felt it, if we know what it is like to be misread, to be reduced to a single moment or a single mistake, then we already know, somewhere deep inside us, why judgment is a dangerous thing to carry. Because what we do to others, we are also doing in some way to ourselves. When we narrow our view of another person, we narrow something in ourselves. We close a door in our own heart. We make ourselves a little smaller, a little less able to receive the full warmth and complexity of another human being. There is a story, old and simple, the kind that stays with you, about a man who lived in a small village and was known for being difficult. He was sharp-tongued and quick to complain. People avoided him at gatherings. Children whispered about him. His neighbors shook their heads when his name came up. For years, he lived this way, half outside the warmth of the community, and nobody questioned why, because the judgment had long since settled into fact. Then, one winter, there was a great storm. The roads were frozen. A young mother in the village fell very ill, and her children were frightened and alone. And while many neighbors hesitated, unsure what to do, this difficult man, this sharp-tongued complainer, got up in the middle of the night in the cold and the dark and walked to her house. He lit the fire. He sat with the children until morning. He brought food. He came back the next day and the day after that, without being asked, without saying very much, until she was well again. Nobody changed their opinion of him overnight. But one woman, older and wiser than most in the village, said something quietly to her daughter afterward. She said, "I have lived long enough to know that a person is not the sum of their difficult moments. They are the sum of everything, including the things we never thought to look for." She was right. She is always right. That older woman in every village, in every generation, who has lived enough to stop judging and start watching more carefully. We speak sometimes about wisdom as if it were a thing that simply arrives with age, like grey hair or stiff joints. But that is not quite true. Age brings experience, yes, it brings time. But wisdom comes only to those who use that time to look honestly at themselves and the world. And one of the deepest forms of wisdom is this: the longer you live, the less certain you become about other people, and the more gently you begin to hold your opinions of them. When we are young, we are often very sure. We are sure about what is right, about how people should behave, about what a good life looks like. But life has a way of softening that certainty. We make our own mistakes. We do things we said we would never do. We fall short of the person we meant to be, and in those moments of falling short, we discover something important: that the distance between us and the people we were judging is not as large as we thought. Perhaps that is the beginning of true compassion. Not a grand, sweeping feeling, but a simple, quiet recognition that we too have been afraid, that we too have acted from our wounds rather than our wisdom, that we too have been the person that someone else was shaking their head at. There is a difference between discernment and judgment. It is worth pausing here because sometimes people worry that if they stop judging, they will become foolish, that they will trust everyone blindly, that they will have no way to protect themselves or the people they love. But discernment is not the same thing as judgment. Discernment is the careful, patient practice of paying attention. It is watching and listening and slowly learning about a person over time. It is noticing patterns, yes, and noticing when something does not feel right. Discernment protects you, it guides you. Judgment is something different. Judgment is the quick, certain decision about who a person is, based on very little. Judgment closes, discernment opens, judgment decides, discernment considers. We do not have to abandon all sense of right and wrong in order to be less judgmental. We do not have to approve of every choice or pretend that harm does not exist. We simply have to slow down, to hold our opinions a little more loosely, to allow the possibility that we do not yet have the full picture. And more than that, to remember that it is not our role in the quiet of daily life to sit as the judge of other people's souls. That is a weight too heavy for any of us to carry well. Let us speak for a moment about regret, not heavy regret, not the kind that crushes, but the gentle, honest kind that comes when we are sitting quietly and we allow ourselves to think back. Have you ever judged someone harshly and then later found out that you were wrong? Have you ever held a coldness towards someone for years based on something you misunderstood or something someone else told you or something you assumed without asking? If you are honest, and most of us are, in our quiet moments, you may remember at least one person. Someone who deserved more kindness from you than you gave. Someone you passed in the street and did not speak to because of a story you had built about them that turned out not to be true. Someone who reached out to you once and you did not reach back because your mind had already decided. These memories are not meant to make us feel ashamed. They are not meant to punish us. They come to us, I think, as teachers. They come to show us that judgment has a cost, not just for the person who is judged, but for us as well. For every wall we build around another person, we lose something. We lose the chance to know them. We lose the connection that might have been. We lose a small piece of our own openness. And sometimes we lose the chance altogether. Sometimes the person we were slow to understand is no longer here by the time we are ready to understand them. And that is perhaps the saddest kind of regret of all. The thought of what might have been if only we had looked a little longer and judged a little less. Tolstoy wrote once in his quiet and searching way that the most important time is now. The most important person is the one beside you, and the most important thing is to do good for that person. It sounds simple. It is simple. And yet how often we miss it because we are busy deciding whether the person beside us deserves our goodness, whether they have earned it, whether they have made enough right choices to qualify for our warmth. But goodness does not work that way. Love does not work that way. Kindness, the real and deep and lasting kind, is not a reward. It is not something we give only to the people who have passed our examination. It is something we offer, freely, as best we can, simply because the person in front of us is a human being, full of the same fears and hopes and sorrows and longings that we carry in ourselves. This is not weakness. This is, in fact, one of the most courageous things a person can do. To choose, again and again, to keep your heart open in a world that sometimes makes it feel very reasonable to close it. Perhaps you have heard it said, in one form or another through the years, that you should not judge others unless you are willing to be judged by the same measure. It is an old idea, and like most old ideas that have survived the centuries, it has survived because it is deeply true. When we judge others, we are setting a standard, and whether we like it or not, we are setting it for ourselves as well. Because life is long, and none of us knows what is still ahead. None of us knows what circumstances we have not yet faced, what losses we have not yet endured, what fears have not yet visited us, what choices we will make when we are exhausted and frightened and alone. It is easy to be certain about what we would do in someone else's situation when we have never been in it. It is easy to say, I would never behave that way, I would never make that choice, I would never end up there. But life does not always give us the situations we feel confident about. Sometimes it gives us the ones we least expected, the ones that test us in ways we did not know we could be tested. And in those moments we hope, quietly, privately, that the people around us will be gentle with us, that they will not reduce us to our worst moment, that they will remember everything else about us and hold it gently alongside this difficult thing they are seeing now. If that is what we hope for ourselves, then it is also what we owe to others. There is something beautiful about old people who have learned this. You have probably met some of them in your life. They are not easy to describe, but you know them when you are near them. They have a quality of stillness, a warmth that does not demand anything from you. When you speak to them, you do not feel like you are being measured or assessed. You feel simply that you are being seen, that they are interested in you as a person, not as a puzzle to be solved or a problem to be classified. These are the people who have lived long enough and loved deeply enough to know that the world is far more complicated than any category we put on it. They have made peace, slowly, with the uncertainty of other people. They have learned to hold their opinions lightly and their hearts openly. And in doing so, they have become, without trying to, exactly the kind of person that others want to be near. This is what a life without judgment looks like, not from the outside. It does not look like weakness. It does not look like foolishness. It looks like peace. It looks like a person who has set down a heavy load and found that the world, without that weight, is a gentler place to walk through. We spend so much of our lives preparing. We prepare for illness. We prepare for weather. We prepare for the future in all the ways we can. But there is one thing we rarely prepare for, and yet it comes for all of us. The moment when the busy, important life we have been living slows down. when the house is quieter, when there is more time to sit and think and remember. In those quieter years, the judgments we held all our lives have a way of rising to the surface. Old opinions, old resentments, old conclusions about people who may no longer even be in our lives. And we have a choice in those moments. We can hold on to them. We can keep them carefully, like objects on a shelf, taking them down occasionally to look at them and confirm that yes, we were right, we were correct. The world went exactly as we expected. Or we can begin gently to let them go, one by one. Not because we are forgetting, not because we are approving of every difficult thing, but because we are tired, because the wait is not worth it anymore. Because the older we get, the more we understand that peace is more valuable than being right. Letting go of judgment is not a single act. It is a practice, done again and again in small moments. It is the moment when you start to form an opinion about someone and you pause, you breathe, you ask yourself what you do not know, what you are not seeing, what this person might be carrying that you have no way of knowing about. And then you hold your conclusion a little more loosely, a little more gently, and you move on. Let us talk for just a few minutes more about what we gain when we stop judging. Because most conversations about judgment focus on what we should stop doing, and they leave out the more beautiful part of the story. When you stop spending so much energy on deciding what is wrong with the people around you, something remarkable happens. You start to notice what is right. You start to see the small and quiet kindnesses that are happening all around you, all the time, that you were too busy to notice before. The old man at the bakery who always says a kind word to whoever walks in, no matter how his own day is going. The woman who has been visiting her elderly neighbor every Tuesday for years, not because anyone is watching or praising her, but simply because she cares. The grandson who calls his grandfather not just on holidays, but on ordinary Tuesdays, because he knows his grandfather is lonely. These things are everywhere, but we cannot see them when we are busy judging. The mind that is occupied with what is wrong with people does not have much room left for what is good in them. And the world, seen through the eyes of judgment, grows smaller and colder and more disappointing over time. The world seen through the eyes of understanding and compassion is a different place entirely. It is still imperfect. It is still full of mistakes and difficulties and people behaving badly sometimes for their own complicated reasons. But it is also full of courage, full of quiet love, full of people doing their very best with what they have, in circumstances that are not always easy. That world is just as real as the other one. It was always there. We simply have to choose which world we're going to look at. We are getting near the end of our time together, and I want to say something gently before we part. None of this is easy. Choosing not to judge is not something we do once, and then it is done. It is something we have to choose again every morning, every afternoon, every time the familiar old reflex rises up inside us and says, "Quick, decide, form an opinion, put this person into a category." We will not always succeed. There will be days when we are tired or hurt or frightened, and the judgments will come faster and feel more necessary. There will be people who make it very difficult to stay open. There will be moments when we look back at a day and realize we fell into the old pattern without even noticing. And when that happens, the answer is not to judge ourselves harshly for judging others. That would be, as someone once gently pointed out, a rather circular problem. The answer is simply to notice, to see it clearly and without cruelty, to say, "Ah, there it was again," and to recommit quietly to the gentler way. Because this is the thing about living well, especially in the later years of life. It is not about being perfect. It was never about being perfect. It is about learning, slowly, imperfectly, sometimes painfully, but truly. It is about becoming, over time, a little more patient, a little more honest, a little more willing to see others as fully human and deeply complicated in the same way that we know ourselves to be. I want to leave you with a thought that I hope you will carry with you after today, not loudly, not urgently, but gently, the way you carry a small, smooth stone in your pocket, and you feel it there sometimes, just by accident, and it reminds you of something you wanted to remember. Every person you meet today is living a life as large and as complicated as yours. Every person is carrying something you cannot see. Every person has been loved, and has loved, and has lost, and has been afraid in the dark, and has hoped for things they were not sure would come. Every person has, at some point, needed someone to be gentler with them than the world was being at that moment. You have the power today, in small and quiet ways, to be that gentleness for someone, not through grand gestures, not through speeches or proclamations, simply by pausing before you judge, by offering, instead of a verdict, a breath of understanding, by holding, even for a moment, the possibility that this person is more than what you are seeing right now. That is enough. That is, in fact, quite a lot. Go gently. Move through the world with your eyes a little softer, and carry in your heart the knowledge that the kindness you offer others without knowing it often becomes the kindness they offer someone else, and so it travels, and so it grows. A quiet ripple in still water, spreading further than you will ever see.